here, I'm back in the full guard. But I need to be aggressive, right? Past couple weeks we've been working on attacking from the open guard and then how to defeat open guard, right? So now we're going to go counter to the counter, because that's all jiu-jitsu is. Counter to the counter until someone dies. So, we go back to our grips. I don't care what you grab. Cuff, pistol, tricep, pick your fancy there. I'm generally going to go pistol grips because I have children's hands. I can't wrist grab, and I don't like cuff grips. So I go pistol grips. My choice. It's my preference. Well, I shrimp hard, lifting my hip off the mat. Whatever I need to stare at. Boom. I bring my feet to the hips. Boom. I get back to the open guard, right? So obviously, once we get here, I'm trying to trap his hands to my hips, and I'm trying to off-balance Mr. Hackett, right? But Mr. Hackett doesn't suck, so he drives his knee up the center, starts to look for his posture. I like none of that. Realize the second someone starts to counter here, we have to get going, right? We can't just sit here and be like, oh, I bet he's not going to do anything with that knee right in the middle of my crotch. He's probably just going to be real polite with it. He's going to be real gentle. He's probably caress me a little bit, like all polite things. No, he's going to immediately start to attack. So the second he brings that foot up, all I'm going to do is I'm going to attack that foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the opposite leg to set him back just that little bit. And the foot that is on the same side hip is going to wrap from the outside to the inside, tucking my foot tight to his thigh. And that same side hand is going to change from the wrist to I'm going to cup his ankle like I'm grabbing a Coke can. No thumbs. Because remember, we don't set grips with thumbs. Because you can break it. Carolyn, you want to see a good wrist brace? Ask Carolyn for one. Boom. We're here, right? So, cuff grip, hip, ankle, thigh. Now, this is called De La Riva. You know why, Jordan?
No.
Because the guy's name was De La Riva. I've met him. He's really old now. Really good at jiu-jitsu though. So, this is a guard he pioneered. I learned it literally directly from him. So, we get to learn some fun stuff tonight. Once we get here, a couple different options as far as where we can attack. First thing we're going to do is just a simple sweep from here. Alright? So I'm here. All I'm going to do, drop this leg down, sweep over, and I'm going to use this to pressure him forward. James is going to feel just a little bit of pressure through his knee here, right? Doesn't feel great, does it? Once we get here, I keep my grip in my grip. To drive my knee to the mat. As I come up, I'm looking for his back in this grip here. Now, once we get here, oddly enough, you're going to lift this arm up, look to slide through. If only we had a warm-up drill. If only, Carolyn. Be convenient, wouldn't it? Here, boom, I shrimp, I get here. Boom, I'm starting to move, James brings that knee up. I don't like any of that. Boom, I get here as soon as I can. It's a pretty quick motion, and it makes a lot of people really uncomfortable, because there's a lot of cool stuff you can do from here, right? So I have my grips, and I'm keeping him off balance still. I'm not letting him just hang out. Boom, here, here, boom, I'm here and here. Now, I like to baseball slide through here. You can back walk towards his back here. I think it is riskier than it needs to be, so I don't recommend it. I would keep him turned up, make sure you keep this underhook, and come to side. Smeesh, pass, then work on taking the back and do another thing. Questions on this? And we'll walk through a bunch of different times. But questions on as far as where we've seen so far. So I'm here, another angle, so that everyone can see the different stuff going on. Boom, I'm here. Shrimp, get to here. Close up. I don't appreciate that. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, I can just grab the ankle and swing my foot in. Realize that the second he starts to feel any sort of pressure come off, he's going to start to drive in to me, which is going to shut off being able to get that ankle in. So that's why I set James back while I still have my open guard and my grips. Because if he drives this knee up the center here, boom, that's what allows me to set my grips. Does that make sense? Because if he's here and he just tries to start driving through and trying to like knee cut here, that's why I set him back. Create that space to allow for my foot. Once we're here, all we're doing, I like to just pull this across as I chop here. That's going to allow me to chop, and I like to staple that knee down. Once we're here, you can grab a grip, dig for the underhook, whatever you prefer. Well, slide through, side through. It's a different guard, it's new for most of you. If you've been here a while, you've seen it. I do like Del Hiva guard. Questions on this?
When your foot goes under, see what it looks like if he stands up.
Okay. So if I'm here, that's where we go next. So as James is here, he puts his knee up, he stands up. Because you can hit Del Hiva from either. So if James stands up to show you the foot, stay in your stance, off your chest. So you're looking to hook your foot on the inside of his thigh here. Because you can hit this sweep from standing too. I like it from bottom better, and I like other sweeps when they stand, but you can hit that same sweep. Other questions? I can see it there. I can see your face.
What's the speed between when you lock your foot in? How fast do you have to transition?
I don't want to hang out in Del Hiva. It's not that, it's a secure guard. You can work out of it a lot. But when you go, there has to be a sense of urgency. You either have to be off balancing or doing something. Because if I just sit here, pulling my gig here, right? If I'm just hanging out, not great. But if I'm here, I'm moving it. I like to off balance James a little bit. I don't have to sprint to sweep here. Because there's a lot of options from this. It's not just this. There's going to be some really nasty stuff we're going to work once he stands up. Because that's 9 times out of 10 what most people are going to do. The second they feel this foot comes up, they post and they try to start standing and try to start clearing your feet. So that's why getting used to off-balancing people is important. I have to be able to manipulate his weight and move him around as much as possible. So as long as you're being active here, perfect. You don't have to worry about much. But if you're just like, hey James, I'm going to grab Del Hiva guard and not do shit with it, you're going to get your ankle cleared and then you're going to get this. So once his knee comes up, sense of urgency into the guard, then compelling action until you decide to swing. Does that make sense? Like when I get mount, I don't have to be in a hurry to do anything. I can literally just sit there. This isn't one where you can just sit there, but you also don't have to sprint anymore.
Do you do Del Hiva and Nogi?
Yes. So I like Del Hiva Nogi, especially versus guys who are always trying to knee cut. I'll go here, and if he tries to knee cut through. Now, I don't have the hands to set good knee grips for Nogi, so I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I have children's-sized hands. Me and Clay have the same size hands. I can't wrist grip shit. It's just not fair for me. But I will tricep and head grip Nogi. I especially like Del Hiva guard Nogi standing up. Because a lot of guys get real motiony here. And I can control just enough with this without even using this hand. I'll be using it to hand fight, do stuff. But there's going to be a lot of cool stuff you can do even Nogi.
Okay. As long as you are making up that you don't need to grip.
You want push pull. It's more off the balance of Del Hiva is through your legs. Your hands are the accessories in this. It's all about how much off balancing I can make. Other questions?
On the sweep, the finished part of the sweep, say you lose that kind of staple or Nogi or whatever and it slips out, do you kind of, is that arm grip or that wrist grip, whatever you'll get, kind of keeping you still in top position to get
So I'm here.
Yeah.
As long as once I hit here, ideal world, right? We all don't live in. I just come up top, James lets everything happen, and I finish, right? Let's say we live in the real world and James isn't just going to let shit happen. Come up on top as much as you can. Get it? Are you going to land in side control every time? No. Are you going to land in side control most of the time? Probably. If not, it's going to be some variation of top, side, half guard, or back.
What grip then? Is it just the opposite wrist grip? That's
Yeah, I'm keeping that wrist grip for as long as I can, because I shouldn't lose that outside of me giving it up. Because he's going to have a hard time breaking that grip as he's going to the space. That's why we're taking him that direction. Does that make sense? Other questions? 1, 2, 3. Boom, I'm here. I get here, I grip, I trim, I get here, right? He pumps up. Now, a couple of you guys were having problems on getting this foot in initially. 1, make sure that we're off balancing and that we're on our hips here. We're not flat on our back, dead square with Mr. Happy. When I'm going for Delahiva, I'm moving. And the other thing is, a couple of you guys are like, man, I feel like I'm just muscling him over. Realize that part of Delahiva is moving him around. Does that make sense? So I have to get some motion going. If James is solid in a good stance here, and he has a good base, I'm not sweeping him. I don't care how much better than James is or how much better looking I am. It doesn't matter. Like, he's going to have a solid base. He's going to sit into it, right? If I just sit here and I'm like, man, you know what? Right? But I move James around a little bit. That's the difference. You have to get some motion going before you try these sweeps. The other thing is, a couple of you guys were feeling like, man, I really got to lift my hip up to get this here. Perfectly fine as long as you're posting into the hip. If I post my foot in the mat, James is going to pass me here. I don't care who you are or what you do here. You're going to get passed and you deserve it. So when I open here, if I post to the mat, you're just going to get passed. But when I get here, I post this foot to the hip. That's going to allow me to hook that foot in more efficiently if I need it. For you gangle fucks, that'll help you. Right? I don't know how to live your lives, but it should help. You're like, man, my foot just doesn't want to swivel in because I have unnormal people legs. That'll help. Once you get here, 9 times out of 10, James feels this discomfort and wants to start backing out. So he's going to stand up into a good stance, and he's going to try to start basing and clearing that inside foot. Most guys, the simple way to defeat Delahiva, guys, is clear that foot and knee cut. Like, that is what 9 times out of 10 people are going to be trying to do. So when we get here, the second James goes to off-balance himself to try to push that knee, or that ankle out, all we have to do is switch our feet. So our foot that was on the thigh, it's going to go to the inside hip here. Our foot that was on the hip is going to go to the inside of his thigh. Then all we're going to do is we're going to pull, pull, push, pull. So I'm here. James stands up into Delahiva. He goes to clear my foot. Clear, clear. The second James hits the mat, I keep my grips and I drive my foot into his hip. Because the second James hits the mat, he's going to try to pop back up. The second he tries, I'm just going to hold on to everything I have. He's going to try to pop up. It's not going to work. Boom. That's going to then allow you, oddly enough, to maybe push your foot in the mat, lift your foot back, and come up into a stance. Damn it, Carolyn, I knew it would work. Man, if only we had warm-up drills to practice these motions, James. If only. For those of you who wonder why the warm-up drills are the way they are, I swear to God I didn't make them up on a random Tuesday just to make you guys do shit so I could pick out music. Swear there is a reason to my madness. So when I'm here, I'm moving James around. He's going to try to clear that ankle. Boom. Switch, switch. When we went to Delahiva's, you did this drill for 2 minutes. The 1 minute mark, James switched sides. I'm not going to do that to you, but you are going to switch 3 times before you sweep. So we're here. 1, 2, 3, sweep. I want you to get that motion fluid. Hold everything. Grip, ankle. As soon as he goes to pop back up, hold him back down. Post up. If you're doing it no-gi, wrist grip. It's the only difference. Questions on this? We'll walk through it a bunch more. Cupping that ankle. That ankle grip is what stops you from getting the defense rain on you. For those of you who haven't been here for that lesson, yes, that is a real sound effect I do the entire day. It's one of my favorite lessons. Not because I'm good at that, but it's just fun. Yes. You guys, something for the class there? Facing this way. Boom, we're here. I shrimp. He drives his knee up. I don't appreciate that. I set him back, swivel my ankle in, get in here. He stands up because he doesn't like that. I'm starting to off balance him. James doesn't suck. He goes to clear my ankle, swivel that foot out into the hip, foot inside to the knee. Push, pull, pull, pull. No-gi, pull. No-gi, pull. No-gi, the only difference is a little bit better sense of urgency on the way up. As soon as his butt hits, you're up. No-gi, you have the grip so you can settle in a little more.
You're saying push, push, pull, pull. What is that? Pull?
So, I'm here, right? This foot pushes, hip. This hand pulling arm not just into me, in and across. This foot pulls his knee towards me. This hand pulls his ankle towards me. So, this is kicking him away. Everything else is pulling him in. Get away from me, but I still love you. Those of you who are like, man, I bet I can do this really quick and probably just let go of a bunch of shit on the way out. Realize the second you don't escape this foot. No, James is a dirty foot locker and he missed it. Realize if you don't escape this foot and try to do something other than post your foot, escape that foot, you're ankle locked. Post the foot, escape the foot. Yeah, if I can get the wrist grip, great. If not, it's speed on the urgency once I get up. So like if it's no-gi, me and Mr. Hackett are here, I'm working, I'm generally going to be here in a deli Giva or here. Or here. Back of either that solid collar grip, like collar tie grip, or like back of the tricep here. If you don't have either of those, it's just urgency. Try and get that foot.
Can you follow that down and get an ankle?
Can you or should you? Should you know? Because you're also in an ankle lock. So, I'm here. So, let's say, yes, can I ankle lock him here? Absolutely. Can he ankle lock me here? Absolutely. Do I believe that 50-50 ankle locking at any level is a good idea? No. That's why every time I show you guys foot locks, your feet are protected. Very rarely do I show you guys go to Ashigurami, sit here and play. None of you are at that level yet. I'm not at that level. That's why I focus on getting this foot out of his way. Because if not, you're in the game with him. Now, in an ideal world, could you probably win the foot race? Maybe. I'm telling you, your ankle's in a worse spot than his is at the start, which is generally not great for a race. Can you go for a foot lock here? Yes. Should you? Absolutely not. Because if I'm here, and my ankle's here, can I drop into that? Yes. Should you? No. You're putting yourself in a bad position and not getting your points either. So if you don't come up there, you don't get your sweep. So, technically, yes. Tactically, no.
If you lose that wrist grip when he stands or while he's standing, like he's next to something, can you go for that same side collar grip?
Yes, you can go same. So, optional grips in the gi once he stands. Wrist. Wrist. Collar. Collar. Tricep. All good options. Play your game. A lot of guys will go here or here. Some guys like to play here, especially if they're trying to base them out this way. All are effective. It's more of a preference versus technical decision.
I've seen a lot of guys like the collar.
Collar is very popular, especially for guys who like to snap people by with it. Like that first sweep works with a collar grip too. I just don't think it's as effective. Other questions? One more time. We're here. I get to the open guard. James brings the knee up. Send him to Del Hiva guard. He stands up. Boom. I switch my feet once. I switch my feet twice. I switch my feet 3 times. Then I get to sweep. Pull, push, pull, pull. As you can see, if you do it right, James is off balance pretty early in that. Hold your grips if you have them. Post your foot. Escape your foot. Come up. I like to stand up and start stacking people up here. So I have grips. Questions? 1, 2, 3.